I never thought silence could be louder than screaming, but that night proved me wrong. My name is Colum Reed. I am 43, and until recently, I believed I had a solid marriage. Not perfect, not cinematic, but steady. 12 years with my wife, Eleanor, built on routines, shared responsibilities, and the quiet belief that loyalty mattered more than excitement. I worked logistics for a regional firm. Long hours, decent pay, no drama. Eleanor worked part-time in interior styling. Flexible, social, always connected. I trusted her, not blindly, but confidently. Trust was something I thought we had earned. The first crack didn't look like betrayal. It looked like distance. Late dinners. Her phone always face down. Laughing at messages she never shared. I noticed, of course, but I told myself the same. Lie most men tell themselves. Don't overreact. Don't be insecure. Be solid. So I stayed solid. I picked up groceries. I paid bills early. I asked about her day and listened even when my own was heavy. I believed consistency could anchor anything drifting. The night everything changed wasn't dramatic at first. It was a Tuesday, raining. Lightly, the kind of evening that encourages staying in. Eleanor said she had a client meeting that ran late. Around 9, I realized she had taken the car charger, something she never did. A small detail, but it stuck. On instinct, I checked. The tablet we shared, the one synced to her accounts. I wasn't looking for proof. I was looking for reassurance. What I found instead was a message preview that froze my hands. A name I didn't recognize. Marcus Hawley. The words were casual, familiar, unmistakably intimate. I didn't confront her right away. I waited. When she came home close to 11, smelling faintly of unfamiliar cologne, she kissed my cheek like nothing was wrong. I asked how the meeting went. She answered easily, too easily. That was when I knew. Not suspected. Knew. Something in her tone had shifted, like she was reciting instead of speaking. I told her I knew about Marcus. Her face didn't collapse. It hardened. That reaction hurt more than denial ever could. She admitted it without tears. Said it had been going on for months. Said it started as talking, then comfort, then connection. She said she didn't plan for it to happen. She said she felt alive again. She didn't say she was sorry. I stood there listening, strangely calm. Like my body had decided panic was inefficient. I asked one question. Are you in love with him? She hesitated just long enough to answer honestly. Yes, that was the moment something irreversible settled inside me. I didn't yell. I didn't ask. Why? I didn't ask how long. I simply nodded and walked past her to the bedroom. I opened the wardrobe and pulled out a suitcase. That's when the real shock hit her. Reality entered the room the second I started folding my clothes. She followed me, voice rising, asking what I was doing. I said I was leaving. Simple, final. My hands were steady, my breathing even. She lost control then. Not crying, screaming. She said I was overreacting. That affairs didn't have to end marriages. That we could talk, go to counseling, reset boundaries. She accused me of abandoning 12 years over a mistake. I kept packing. Shirts first, then jeans. Each item felt like reclaiming something I had misplaced. That's when she screamed the sentence that burned itself into my memory. If you walk out that door, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I stopped packing for a second, not because I was scared, but because I was struck by the certainty in her voice. Not sadness, not fear, threat, control. I looked at her then, really looked, and realized the woman standing in front of me was no longer my partner. She was someone trying to preserve comfort, not love. I told her calmly that regret comes from betraying yourself, not from leaving someone who already left you. I zipped the suitcase, and carried it toward the door. She followed, still talking, switching strategies mid-sentence. Anger to pleading to blame. She said Marcus meant nothing now. She said she would cut him off immediately. She said she needed me. I paused at the door, not to reconsider, but to be clear. I told her she didn't need me. She needed stability, and I was done being used as infrastructure for someone else's choices. When I stepped outside, the rain had stopped. The air felt sharp, clean, unfamiliar. I put the suitcase in the boot and sat in the driver's seat for a moment, hands on the wheel, letting the quiet settle. My chest hurt, but it wasn't panic. It was grief mixed with relief. I drove to a small hotel near the bypass and checked in without incident. That night, alone in a narrow bed, I slept deeper than I had in years. The days after were messy, but clarifying. Lawyers replaced arguments. Emails replaced lies. Eleanor tried to rewrite the narrative, painting my departure as impulsive, cruel. It didn't matter. I wasn't interested in winning a story. I was interested in reclaiming my dignity. Friends reached out. Some didn't. I learned who valued truth over convenience. I don't pretend it was easy. There were mornings I woke up reaching for a life that no longer existed. There were evenings the silence felt heavy again. But it was an honest silence, not the kind that rots you slowly. I didn't leave because of Marcus. I left because the moment she cheated, she chose herself at the cost of us. Sometimes I think about what she screamed that night, about regret and consequences. That moment did change life, just not the way she meant. I don't regret walking out. I regret staying as long as I did. Leaving wasn't the end of my marriage. It was the beginning of my self-respect.